Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fun List Friday, right here on the Eat Sleep List YouTube channel. My name is Matt Johnson, your host. Happy Halloween to all of those who celebrate it. And we are going to celebrate it today by talking about the good and the bad, the best and the worst things to get while trick-or-treating. Let's make a list. All right, I am super excited to do this video. There is a history behind it, a little bit of a backstory as to why we are doing this, and I'm going to share it with you now. So, years ago, back in 2020, Eat Sleep List was created as a audio-only podcast, and it's still going today. The audio version is still going today on bicbp-radio.com, and it's changed a lot over the years. But back when I first started this show, what I would do is I would bring in guests, we'd have conversations, make lists, and communicate with each other. It was a great time. And I would go 16 weeks on, 16 weeks off. So basically 4 months on, 4 months off, just to give myself a little bit of a break because I was doing 80 podcasts at the time. And so October fell on one of the off months in the very first, the very first off season, so to speak, and I really wanted to do something for Halloween. So I reached out to my good friend Brian, who is one of the hosts of the Crafting and Drafting YouTube channel / podcast. We're going to be doing something with him shortly. About the holidays, we'll bring that up. We'll talk about that at a later date. But I brought him on. I'm like, let's do this thing. Let's make a Halloween-themed list. And we decided on the best and worst things to get while trick-or-treating. All right, so we did. We each brought 10 of each. 10 favorite things to get while you're trick-or-treating, and the 10 least favorite or worst things that you've ever gotten while trick-or-treating. And it was great. We sat in the old podcast studio inside the old pod cave, as we called it, and just vibed. And it was great. And it was one of my favorite episodes that I've ever done, and I've been looking for a chance to redo it forever. Not that it was a bad episode, but just to discuss it again, to get that feeling off my chest, and maybe make it a little bit better. All right, so this YouTube channel is a wonderful opportunity to do so, and I have been looking forward to doing this since the YouTube channel got underway this past February. All right, so we're going to do that. The list is going to be just that, my 10 favorite things and 10 least favorite things that I've ever gotten while trick-or-treating. And I'm going to preface all of this before the list that anybody who gives out mostly anything for Halloween is a saint. You are awesome. Shout out to you. There are some people who give out silly crap. I'm gonna go through there was a lot of we did a TikTok video asking people what the worst thing that they ever got on Halloween was. I'm gonna read through a lot of the funny, unique ones, but a lot of them were like apples with razor blades and popcorn ball with razor blades, and I was just in shock and awe. So, fuck those people. But the ones who actually do this with good intentions, handing out good stuff, shout out to you. You're awesome, and you're keeping the tradition of Halloween alive, and it's great. It's great, and we need more people like you. I am grateful for anybody who does stuff, but there are some times where you're getting stuff for trick-or-treating, and you're just like, oh, damn. And it sounds ungrateful. It sounds incredibly ungrateful, but we've all been there. Like, just being honest, and our younger selves were, sometimes a little too honest, a lot of us, but we've all had something really great stuff and some really, really awful things that we just wish we never went to their house. All right, we wish we just would have just walked past their home, or if we were lesser people, maybe threw some toilet paper on their house or something. Again, grateful. We're going to make this fun, and in the spirit of making this fun, we got to talk about the feelings of getting something that we absolutely despise. All right, there's no lesson from the list for this video because the actual list that we're going to be doing is quite long and lengthy. But what I wanted to do is read through some of the TikTok comments that I received on this post I did. It is my most viewed TikTok post that I've ever done, which I'm pretty proud of that. It was over 3,700 people viewed it, and I had 81 comments on it. So I'm going to go through some of the unique ones, some of the funny stories. I won't give any names out of respect and privacy, and I guess kind of that. But I want to read through some of these. Some of these stories are absolutely incredible about what they received, the worst things that they received while trick-or-treating. All right. Well, here, my YouTube channel, my good friend Will, he said he received a Bible trick-or-treating, which religion, I don't shame anybody for that, but if I come to your house and you hand me a Bible, we're gonna have some trouble. It was a pocket Bible, I guess. Bible quote cards, we had somebody say. Somebody got pennies in a Tupperware catalog. Another person commented that they received a typed letter stating the evils of Halloween. Let's see, loose pennies, the toothbrush. There's glow-in-the-dark Christmas ornaments. I kind of don't hate that. Somebody got a can of beans that they announced. This one was fun. This commenter said that her dad their dad, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a male or female, but because it doesn't say it, it's like a username kind of thing. It doesn't have a specific name, but their dad gave out potatoes back in the 1960s because they had run out of candy. I low-key kind of love that too. Like, you just wouldn't quit as you start handing out potatoes. I don't know how I would have felt receiving a potato for Halloween, but that was probably one of my favorite comments that we got. Dental floss is one. Somebody who was allergic to walnuts received walnuts in their trick-or-treat bag. Raisins, fruit, a lot of fruit. There's a lot of various fruits. Somebody got a sandwich bag full of pennies. Somebody got a rotten fruit. Somebody said the clap. Obviously, they did not receive the clap in their trick-or-treat bag, but that is the gift that keeps on giving. Somebody had water balloons thrown at them. Somebody had a pen and notebook from a bank. Somebody got a piece of bologna. Somebody got a book called What Really Happened to the Dinosaurs, which is interesting. A roll of toilet paper, melted popsicle, mini flashlights. Somebody got an onion. Somebody got chalk, like not sidewalk chalk, but just school teachers' chalk. And then, of course, there's the apple with razor blade comment that I got over several times, which was quite disappointing. But some amazing stories that I got to read and hear, and I'm really glad that I posted that one. I'm really glad that so many people commented on it. I got some doozies on here, but some of them, good Lord, I don't know if I could have handled that. I don't know if I could have handled some of these, but yeah, that's some of our TikTok funny comments, and I appreciate everybody who did. All right, everybody, it is time for my favorite part of every single video that we do. It is time to make the list. As I always encourage, please feel free to comment along. For the sake of this video, your favorite and least favorite things that you've ever gotten while trick-or-treating. I know I just did a YouTube short, a little 20-second thing, and some people did comment. I appreciate those who did. But if you want to do it again, especially if you just want to talk about the good stuff, feel free to. And, of course, my email is always open, eatsleeplistpod@gmail.com. It is in every single video description that we share. But let's get to it. The good, the bad, the trick-or-treat list. Let's start off with my number 10s. Firstly, the good. Caramel creams. Those are my, old school candy. I remember just an overabundance of those when I was a kid. I remember a lot of them. Every year for trick-or-treating, I'd get a couple, and I loved it. Great flavor. I like that, just that soft part in the middle was always a nice, touch. It just blended together so well. And I rarely see them anymore. In fact, a couple of weeks ago at one of my wife's friends' gatherings, a little bit of a Halloween one, they had them out for it, and it jogged my memory. And honestly, if they weren't out, I don't know if I would have had it on this list. But I'm glad I had the chance to. It is really, really good. I miss having those. I might have to buy a bag just for myself. But the number 10 good, caramel creams. My number 10 bad, another old school candy, but it's circus peanuts. It's been a long time since I've had one. I can't really comment on the flavor, even though I think the flavor was okay, but the texture was just weird. It made it, it just, I don't know. I had a lot of those when I was a kid. Maybe I did appreciate it when I was little, but there was a point in time where I just remember biting into it like a stale one, and it ruined them for the rest of my life. All right, just crispy, just circus peanut candy, and it was blah. So that's my number 10 bad, the circus peanut. We're going to my number 9s, the good, the Willy Wonka bottle caps. I don't see those anymore either. What a smooth candy that was. The best one was root beer. Those root beer bottle caps were so good. And I'm not a big sour candy person, but that is one of the few exceptions that I will give. And they used to come in the little fun-size version was like a little 3-pack. And you get a couple of those throughout the evening while trick-or-treating. And I remember always hoping that there was a root beer one. And it was probably the one I got the least of. They do a lot of wholesale candy, and maybe I'll have to, I don't even know if it still exists, but maybe I'll have to try and find a whole root beer pack, but those are great. The Wonka bottle caps. My ninth least favorite, black licorice. Ugh. Moving on. Number 8, my good. Getting a Heath bar. Little sticky. All right, get a little toffee stuck, just a little bit, but it was a great little candy. Very rare. I think its rarity helps make it so much more special for me. I don't know if I've ever had a full-length Heath bar, but I've definitely had a lot of fun-sized ones. I like that flavoring. I just do. Nice little crisp, perfectly balanced. Heath bar is good in my book. My number 8 least favorite is a pixie stick. Again, not great with the sour candies, but this tube of sugar is just, ugh. It makes me cringe just thinking about it. I can't believe we used to eat baby bottle pops. That was a delicacy candy back when I was growing up. Baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop. You lick the sucker thing, you dip it in, you shake up the bottle, you get all the sour stuff. Yeah. Ugh. We used to get the giant tub, the tubes. I wish I didn't do that hand gesture, but we used to get the giant tubes of pixie sticks for holidays and birthdays and stuff. And eventually it got so gunked up because it got my saliva and like around the rim of it, and it would just harden all the sugary, sour pixie stick stuff. Yeah, just not good. Just not good. I know there's a big urban legend. Well, actually, I think it was a true story about the pixie stick murderer, and that was always like a weird one because I think I remember my parents talking about that when I was trick or treating. So we were like, we never ever got to eat the pixie sticks for Halloween. Never. Only for the holidays and other stuff. But I never really enjoyed it anyways. It's gross. My number 7's the good Twix. I like to take my time with certain foods. I like to have fun, play with it, eat it in sections. And Twix has always been a nice one where I always this is my method. I bite the caramel part off the top. All right, bite that first, and then I'd eat the I'd skim the cookie by eating the chocolate around it everywhere, so it was just the cookie left. And I would do that a lot. Twix has made some cool variation flavors over the years, but a classic Twix bar it's great in my book. It's one of my favorites. I've had Twix milkshakes and ice cream treats before, and it's always a good time. My number 7 bad, another sour candy, are Runts. Getting the little baggies of the Runts, the little fruit shaped candies. The only like decent one was like the banana one, but even still, it was something wasn't right with it. So Runts are my number 7 bad. On to my number 6. 6 good. Snickers. That is a elite level candy bar. I used to love when I was doing school sports because my parents would always hook me up. They would always have like a full Snickers bar for me if I needed energy. Just here, take this, have it ready. And it was always really cool to get the fun size, like the smaller bars, because they were so heavy. I hated the really like the square shaped ones. But those ones that were probably about like 2, maybe 3 inches long, those were an awesome find for Halloween where you can get your hands on those. Awesome. But yeah, the little squares, they didn't really do it for me. Milk Duds is my 6 bad. My number 6 bad one. Chewy. They'd really stick to your teeth. Just unpleasant to eat. The flavoring was the best part, but just it was messy. And just I don't know. I hate when stuff just sticks to you. Like the Heath one I can understand. Like there was a little sticky toffee thing going for, but Milk Duds I've had some hard Milk Duds in my life. They were not pleasant. So that's my number 6. Number 5, it's a tie for the good. It is Blow Pops or Tootsie Pops. Because that people spend a decent penny on those specific ones. I love Suckers. The big ones were always really good. I don't know. They were just a way to just pass the time, I guess. Like you just have it there. It's like a hard candy, but there's a fun stick on it. And then obviously the Blow Pop with the gum aspect was always really neat. And the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop. Grew up with those commercials. How many licks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Pop? And there was always 3 and then a bite. There was fun to it. I hated my number 5 bad were lollipops, because a lot of them were the small ones. They had that, like, the lollipop stick. It was like the shape of a U. Like, both ends were in the lollipop. Or dum-dums. Because you knew that somebody spent like $1.50 on like 100 of those. especially back in my day. Dum-dums are fun like once in a while, but man, trick-or-treating, you want the big stuff. You want the good stuff. So, we'll call them dinky suckers, are my number 5 bad. Let's go to my number 4 good. Butterfingers, or from back in my day, Butterfinger BBs were a fun one to get. I don't think they stopped making them for a long time. There's like a huge cult following for Butterfinger BBs, and they want them back. But the Butterfinger's good. Another fun one to break down. I eat the chocolate around it all, and then just go to town on the rest of it. The yellow wrapper stood out a lot. Like, that was a really nice touch. It's bright. Butterfinger's a good candy. Just a good candy in general. Butterfinger bells around Christmas time is a nice touch too. But if we're talking Halloween, trick-or-treat bag, give me them Butterfingers. That's my number 4 good. My number 4 bad is change, spare change. I don't mind quarters, especially back in my day. Quarters used to be, again, back in my day. Back in the 90s, when I was trick-or-treating, quarters were a nice touch. But pennies, nickels, even dimes were kind of like, yeah. And when you think about it, some of the candy bags, the candy prices back then in the 90s too, was probably about an equivalent, amount for it. But I don't know. It's like when people give you money for like your birthday or for like a holiday, like a gift present. Like, sometimes you just want the gift. You want the gift. And when it comes to trick-or-treating, you just want the candy instead of the money to buy the candy. Like, you never, I don't know. Greedy, I guess. I'm just a greedy. But it was just really disappointing when you're hoping for something good and this man or woman throws out just a little dime in your bag. Penny was like really insulting, but yeah, whatever. That's my number 4. On to my number 3, the good peanut butter M&Ms. Another rarity. I would accept any and all M&Ms because I think the most popular ones are the original ones. Most popular for trick-or-treating are the original ones or the peanut ones. But if you got that cool orange wrapper for peanut butter M&Ms, delicious. I'm a peanut butter freak. All right, I eat it straight out of a jar, spoonfuls at a time. I am obsessed with peanut butter, and getting peanut butter M&Ms was a great grab if you're going trick-or-treating. My number 3 least favorite is a lot of the gum. Double Bubble, Fruit Stripes gum. It didn't last very long, so you had to keep putting more in, and you'd burn through your stock very quickly. Double Bubble was a little bit better than Fruit Stripes, but I remember getting like a legit one time a stick of Fruit Stripes gum. And we all, if you grew up in the 90s, you knew that Fruit Stripes gum, lucky if the flavor lasted more than 30 seconds. And I got a stick of this from somebody's house. Should have been a TP. Should have been TP'd. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, gum on Halloween. It's fun when it's in the center of a blow pop, but just straight up gum, not great. Bazooka Joe too. Oh, that candy was the worst. That was the worst gum. That was bad gum too. That was hard as a rock. Yeah, you get the comics, the little mini comic strip, but whatever. It takes literally 10 seconds to read through a Bazooka Joe comic strip in a piece of bubble gum. Trash. All right. My number 2. Good. My number 2 good. Reese's Cups. This is my favorite candy, or one of my favorite candies to get. It's quite common, and I feel like Reese's Cups used to be a lot bigger too. But I used to love getting. Sometimes you get the single. Once in a great while, you get the double Reese's Cup, which is always a nice touch. But those single packs, those are always usually the first to go. When I'm going through my trick-or-treat bag and after my parents inspected it, that was usually the first candy to go, and I would plow through those. So, Reese's Cup is good. My bad. Pretzels. Popcorn, like, I guess you can kind of include that too. I never got much like little popcorn bags, but pretzel sticks, or the pretzel Halloween, like pumpkin shapes, stuff like that. It's just nothing. Just nothing. I so disappointed when I get the pretzels. Candy's where it's at. Pretzel is a healthy snack. I don't want healthy on Halloween. I want the good stuff. That's my number 2. And my number 1 good, Almond Joy. People hate this. And I didn't want to read off from the comments. There was a lot of people who hate Almond Joys and Mounds. To each their own. For me, I love it. You send me all the Almond Joys. All right, it's a fun candy. I love coconut flavor. I do. And there's another fun one to eat. You know, if you like to dissect your food like I do, eat around the almond or just bite into the almond first and foremost, then eat the chocolate and finish off with the coconut. Almond Joys were rare as well. I love the blue packaging on them. I didn't get too many Mounds, but Almond Joys I did get plenty of. Or I did get a decent amount of. But they had some weight to it. They were heavy. I still love, like, sometimes I get them for Christmas, and I love when you're, like, reaching to the bottom of your stocking and you find, like, a random Almond Joy still in there. Oh, it makes me so happy. Gets me so excited. So, Almond Joy is my number 1 good. My number 1 bad. I hate this candy. Apparently, there's a much gentler version of it, but now and laters are, in my opinion, the worst. Not only was this candy hard as a rock, and it was tough to chew through. Apparently there's a softer version. I never had it, but my relationship with the now and later product is it's in the past. But not only was this stuff hard as a rock, but you could not get the wrapping paper off of it. I can't tell you how many times I tried to open up a now and later, and there was just still paper stuck to it. Couldn't get it off. It was just there. And when you're a kid, you're just like, whatever. First time trying it, first couple times having it, you're just like, whatever. You're just shoving wax paper in your mouth, whatever the wrapping packaging is made out of. But now and later to me is the absolute undeniable worst Halloween candy that I have ever gotten. It is the worst thing I've ever gotten on Halloween. When I'm picking through my bag, because my parents used to, what they would do is they'd allot you, you get one a night. And usually now and later's sat in my Halloween trick-or-treat bag until Christmas, usually. And it's even if I ate it, I might have just thrown it out at that point. But those candies, awful. In my opinion. Obviously, this is all my opinion stuff, all right? My experiences, my preferences, my dislikes, my likes. It's all going to be different from what you have. And that is the point of these lists, is expressing yourself. I cannot wait. I hope we get some great comments. I look forward to seeing some of them. But that is it, everybody. That is the trick-or-treat list, the good and bad trick-or-treat list, however the heck you want to, whatever you want to call it. This was a joy to go through. I really enjoyed it. I hope you had a fun time listening to some of this stuff. Enjoy the holiday. Enjoy it. If you have little ones, make it special for them. Make it unforgettable in a great way. All right? And if you don't have little ones and Halloween used to mean something to you or maybe still does, make it special for trick-or-treaters. All right? I'm done. This is my 4th video recorded tonight. I am so exhausted. I'm going to bed. Till next time, do you even list?